Okay, let's go on to the Brown side of the ball. We had to make a new template because we got Case Keenum starting at quarterback on this tight 4-day game going on Thursday night. Yeah, Case Keenum is you're definitely not starting him. Definitely. But we can speak on him a little bit.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not starting him, dude. Definitely. I do say definitely a lot. Case Keenum is not that great. He also hasn't started a game in over 2 years. Literally, he hasn't started a game since pre-COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're not starting Keenum. Like I just said, you're missing both your starting tackles. The Broncos secondary is arguably the best secondary in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yes.
I know Derek Carr kind of lit him up last week, but they're still a really good secondary, in my opinion. But yeah, this is quick. You starting Case Keenum? No.
By the way, Underdog Fantasy, our new sponsor, use promo code AVG. They have a player prop right now, Case Keenum, over under 0.5 interceptions. I'm gonna go with the over on that one.
Yeah, I like that one. I like the over on that one.
That's hot like Hansel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's go on to the running back position. This is the most I feel like this is the most talked about thing this past couple of days, just because Nick Chubb is out, Kareem Hunt is now out with the calf injury. You got Dernest Johnson and what is it? Darren Felton.
Demetri
Felton. Excuse me. Yeah. So are you starting Dernest Johnson? I think in this situation, if you picked him up on waiver wire, you got to go ahead and start him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you got him, you got to play him. Like I said, it's just so many people on buys, so many injuries. So to have a starting running back who should see at least 15 total touches, yeah, you got to get him in your lineup. I mean, he's like a low-end RB2 to me. You know, when they get into the goal line, I'm going to assume that they would give him the football and the goal line carries. He's a bigger back out of the two between him and Demetri Felton. The Broncos do have a pretty good run defense, only allowing 3.7 yards per carry, so pretty stout. Like, I keep going back to it. I'm not expecting a ton of fantasy points in this matchup. So, but for how thin the running back position is, all the buys and injuries, like I said, I feel like a broken record. You got to get the guy in your lineup. So, like, especially if you went out and you got him, you obviously got him for a reason.
Yeah. I'm starting him in a league, so I'm roll with me. Dernest Johnson, Ernest of the Johnsons.
Isn't it the Dernest play?
He is the Dernest play in the world there. Now we got Donavan Peoples Jones. I had a buddy who doesn't really watch that much football. That's what he said. Who scored that? He said Donavan Peoples Jones. Yeah. So he had 2 touchdowns last week. Is that correct? Correcto mundo, dolphinately. Donovan Peoples Jones scores twice last week.
One was I don't want to say fluke play, but a Hail Mary.
Full of grace.
Yeah, they right before halftime, he chucked up a Hail Mary and caught the long touchdown. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This would be like a break glass in case of emergency type of play. You're
not excited about it?
He's had 5 targets and 6 targets the last 2 games. I mean, obviously, if Landry doesn't play, Odell doesn't play, his value will go up. But it is a tough matchup. I don't know, break glass in case of emergency type of player. You just need somebody who can possibly get you some points. That's him. But there's so many other potential guys you can pick up off the waiver wire that I'd be willing to grab and throw into my lineup. I mean, just off the top of my head, Javonte Parker's probably out there.
Donovan Peoples Jones. Here's the thing: is that it's like the Broncos are averaging 21 fantasy points per game to the wide receiver position. Their defense, I love their defense, but I mean, if Donovan Peoples Jones is the only guy there, I mean, fuck, cut my cock off and call me a Browns fan. I'm throwing him in. Yeah, that's the only way.
Only thing I can say is that obviously they do have Odell and Landry, and you got Higgins there and stuff like that. So Case Keenum is probably most familiar with Donovan Peoples Jones because they've probably had a lot of snaps or a lot of reps together with the second team or the second stringers. So he might be comfortable or have that rapport with him. And I mean, maybe he leans on him. Maybe that's his go-to guy. We don't know.
Yeah,
we haven't seen what Case Keenum's been in this offense yet, and we haven't seen him out there with Donovan Peoples Jones. So I mean, for all we know, he comes out and he gets 10 targets. or does he come out and he get 3 targets? It's just there's a wide range of outcomes that can happen here. That's why I say like a break glass in case of emergency guy. He's a guy where, like at least he's going to play. He should be out there playing 80% of the snaps for the wide receivers, if not more. So at least he'll be out there.
Yeah. Just the range of outcomes, not necessarily predicting that he'll do that, but it is definitely within the range of outcomes for him to have a game, maybe, if Case Keenum, if he's the only guy there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to, well, we got the other wide receivers. Let's talk Odell. Odell's obviously out, so you're not starting him.
Yeah, so he's doubtful or questionable, I think. He's got a grade 3 AC joint sprain. So, and you're probably thinking, like, what the hell is that, a grade 3 AC joint sprain? I've actually had this injury from playing football. It's basically when you land on your shoulder and it, like, rips. You have 3 ligaments that basically hold your collarbone connected to your shoulder socket. And a grade 3 means that all 3 of those ligaments rip. So now your collarbone is basically just chilling, like in the air like that. So it's very painful. For me, it was very painful. It was very sensitive to the touch. So I can only imagine being an NFL wide receiver where people are trying to hit you as hard as they can and throw you on the ground as hard as they can and tackle you. Landing on that shoulder would probably be very painful for him. So it's probably going to be a pain tolerance thing. Maybe they, juice him up with some pain meds and he goes out there and he plays. But I would think most likely not, because like I said, I've personally had this injury and it's extremely painful. So I couldn't imagine going out there and playing a football game while having that, especially like a week into or a week after it happened.
Yeah, and by the way, he hasn't practiced all week too, so
So I would say most likely he would not play. If he does, maybe he's just a decoy.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Maybe he's just out there running routes to open the field up for other guys, potentially. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm not feeling good about playing him even if he does. So yeah, I'm with you. Let's go to Jarvis Landry. So Jarvis Landry could possibly come back from IR. I think I forgot to write it down, but I think he was a limited participation today. It being in Cleveland helps. Don't have to do the whole traveling or whatever. I think if he plays, do you start him?
Yeah, if Landry plays, I'm starting him because I think that Keenum would lean on him. A guy who's short, intermediate routes, a good route runner. Landry's ability to get open on the quick passes, and then his yards after the catch. One of the best yak guys in the NFL, in my opinion. Guy's super tough to bring down once he gets the football in his hands. So yeah, if Landry plays, I would be playing him in this matchup. But does he play? Who knows? He suffered an MCL sprain, I believe it was, back in week 2. So he's had about 4 or 5 weeks to kind of recover from that. So we'll see if they put him out there. If he doesn't return this week, I think Landry definitely returns next week. So just keep an eye on that. If you have Landry or he's on your waiver wire potentially, maybe grab him and stash him. If he's on your waiver wire for sure, grab him now. Like I said, we always say be a week early instead of a week late. If he's on your waiver wire, go out and grab him. Even if you don't feel comfortable throwing him into your lineup this week, if he plays, maybe he sits out. But at least you have him, because if he does play and he comes out and he has a good game, maybe he gets you like 8 catches, 68 yards and a touchdown, he's going to be probably the top waiver claim or one of the top waiver claims in your league. So go out and grab him now and just hold on to him if he's out there. But if Landry plays, I like him.
Yeah, I'm with it too. Especially in PPR leagues for sure. You're saying the short intermediate routes. You don't really necessarily have to beat a cornerback if you're just running like a crazy little slant out of the slot. So that being said, I'm with you on Jarvis Landry if he plays. Let's go to the tight ends. So I think we should just talk about these tight ends as a whole. You got Austin Hooper, you got David Njoku. Excuse me. And you also got Harrison Bryant. Obviously, Harrison Bryant's kind of like an afterthought, but you got a lot of guys here, and it's just like I do like the matchup a little bit with Case Keenum, because we always talk about like these crappier quarterbacks and how they target the tight end just because it's a more reliable guy. My thing is that I don't know who the fuck who to start, Austin Hooper or David Njoku.
Yeah, I agree with you on there. I mean, they both have 19 targets on the season. If Landry and Odell are out, I think I would lean Njoku because he's more of the athletic, oversized wide receiver type of tight end. If you did need to stream a tight end, for this week. I mean, we've seen what Njoku is capable of a couple weeks ago. Not the most consistent or the most reliable guy, but if those other pass catchers aren't playing, then they got to throw the ball to somebody, and he's arguably the best pass catcher they would have on the field next to Donavan Peoples Jones probably. If those guys do play, then I don't know. It's a crapshoot. You don't know. Like the range of outcome is so wide for a guy like Njoku, and then he's not getting targeted in the end zone. I mean, he had that monster game, but he broke off a couple big catches. But it's Hooper who's got 5 red zone targets compared to Njoku's 2, and then Hooper has 2 end zone targets compared to Njoku who has 0 end zone targets. So maybe Hooper's a guy where if you're just looking for someone like, hey, I just want a guy who can get me like 20 yards and a touchdown potentially. I mean, I could see that, especially with them, Stefanski, play action. I could see a scenario where they get in close, play action, Hooper catches like a 5-yard touchdown, maybe he gets you, like I said, 20 yards and a touchdown, PPR, he gets you like 10 points. So,
yeah, if I'm picking one of them, I'm going to go Austin Hooper. He's hit more snap percentage, over 70% snap percentage in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would expect Hooper to be on the field more, especially because of his blocking ability compared to Njoku. So, I mean, maybe does that give him the opportunity to, like I said, some play action, some passes where he sneaks out, these little flat routes and stuff like that. I mean, we've seen Austin Hooper be a capable pass catcher. I mean, that one year with the Falcons before he got hurt, he was like the number 1 tight end a couple years ago. I think it was like 2-3 years ago, back when he was with the Falcons. So, I mean, yeah, in one of my leagues, I'm in a pinch. We're in a dynasty league together. Logan Thomas on IR. I picked up Dan Arnold. I've been kind of rolling within the last couple of weeks. That's kind of been rocky. He's on bye, and in a dynasty league, it's a barren wasteland out there. There's really nobody, and Hooper's out there, and he's kind of one of these guys where I'm thinking like, all right, I might have to just take a shot and throw him in my lineup because, like I said, maybe they get in close and he gets a red zone touchdown. So
yeah. The waiver wire for tight ends has got me feeling. I'm wrong. Definitely, dude. Okay, so we can go on to. Oops, I don't know where I lost the Browns. Oops, I don't know where it is.
Lost in the sauce.
I lost
dude.
the Browns defense slide, but we'll talk Browns defense. Are you starting the Browns defense in this matchup?
I mean, another one where I'm not mad at it because I feel like.
It's going
to be a low-scoring game. If I'm going to pick one or the other, I think I'm going to pick the Broncos defense just because, the Browns are missing some tackles. You have question marks at the receivers, Landry, Odell, Baker's out. So, you basically have a starting defense playing against a backup offense for the Broncos. So, but then again, I'm also not mad at a defense that's pretty good in the Cleveland Browns at home against a mediocre offense on the road on a short week. So, yeah, I mean, it just depends on who's out there. If the Patriots are out there, I do like the Patriots. I do like the Packers this week at home against the Washington football team. I just think playing in Lambeau is a little, it's a good home field advantage there for the Packers. Washington, tough road matchup for Heineke and them over there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like mid-tier. I'm not excited about it, but I think it won't lose you. I don't think it will lose you your week.
Yeah.
Because if I think the Broncos win this game, I don't think they're going to win it by. They're not going to just run away with this game.
Broncos 17-16. You heard it here first.
Bro, do you know what the score of the last game was?
17-16.
It was literally that.
Yeah, dude, because that's going to be the score of this game.
Bro, that's crazy that you just said that. Hold up. Wait a minute. Check it out. So we got a partnership with Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is kind of like it's similar to other competing apps like DraftKings, FanDuel, things like that. I actually like this one better. It's brand new. It's a great app. It's run really well. I have the desktop version of it on here right now. I just want to show you guys a little bit about it. So right now, we just talked about the Thursday night game. You could do woo. Okay. We just broke down everything we think is going to happen in this Thursday night football game. So you can go and do this Thursday night rumble. It's a $10 entry and $50,000 in prizes. That's insane. $50K. Right there. $50,000. That's nuts. $10 entry. Go ahead. You just draft your team. Look, there's 2.2 thousand people entered in this right now. It's paying out all the way to the 1400th place. You literally you just have to beat pretty much the top. You have to be in like the top 70% in order to get into where you're actually making your money back, and then a little bit of some. But you can, first place wins $10,000 all the way down. It's 50K guaranteed prizes in this, and that's not just it. If you go and check this out, this is actually my favorite part of the app. Is if you go in here, NFL, and then you go to Pick'em, you can parlay. You can't do this. You can't put a parlay in for props normally, but in the Underdog Fantasy app, you can. There's some sneaky ones in here. We were talking about Case Keenum. Case Keenum hasn't played in 3 years, so I love the over on the 0.5 interceptions, and you can parlay these together, so you can do all the way up to 20 times your money if you do 5 of them. And this is not that crazy to hit a 5-team player prop parlay, because you can really go into that and figure that out. Like, I love the Tim Patrick over 3.5 receptions. You could literally put you could literally put $50 on that, on 5 of these, parlay them together. You hit them all, you get $1,000. $1,000. That's pretty nuts. This is money, honest. And so right now, if you download the Underdog Fantasy app and use promo code AVG when you sign up, AVG. Let me write that out. Yeah, so when you go to sign up, use promo code AVG while you sign up, and you'll be able to get a free $10 with your first deposit. So you can literally put $10 in, and they'll match you a $10 deposit on that. So it's a pretty good deal, free money. Sounds pretty nice to me. If I were you, I would take advantage of these pick'ems, props that you can do. And then also the drafts are great as well. So go ahead and check that out. And if you do this, it supports the channel. So we appreciate it big time, because, it was awesome to be able to be partnered up with Underdog Fantasy. And, yeah.